Hello, Source Nation family. This is Myra McKnight with Can We Talk? And I have an amazing guest. I have a woman that is totally transparent. And I am really feeling her book, her way, her vibes, and her life. Olevia Henderson. She is a author of many, many books. One that kind of caught my attention was The Dirt I Hid. She has another book called No Test, No Testimony, and another book of faith. I'm telling you, she's full of it. She's full of a lot of things, and she's full of a lot of word and a lot of faith and a lot of wisdom that she can bring to all of us today. So I don't want to talk too much. I want to bring her on, and I want her to tell us about her and some of her story, and then talk about her books, and then how we can begin to heal from things we've gone through and the stuff we've hidden in our lives, because we've done that. So without further ado, I'm going to say to Olevia, welcome, Olevia.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's truly a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to have you here because I love truth. I don't like the sugarcoating stuff. We've all had our lives and our days, and we've all been through some things. And it's unfortunate that we hide it because, and it doesn't mean you have to be, that's not all tragic. It's not all tragic, but stuff happens. And you've written several books, and tell me what brought on this start. What was your first book? What made you say, you know what, I've been given this mantle right here. This is my platform. This is what I got. You could have held it in to yourself, but you decided to write it down and put it on print.
And it's funny you say that. What God told me to write it. I held it in for 30-some years. And so I realized that the past was really affecting my present. And as I had to learn forgiveness for people that had did me wrong in my past, as well as the people I wronged, I couldn't figure out why I would still get angry at the people that did me wrong. And it wasn't until I went and I asked God, I said, well, God, I did what you asked me to do. I forgave them. And it's like God said, well, have you truly forgiven them? Because if you forgave them, you wouldn't be mad if you hear their names. You wouldn't be mad if they come into your presence. So at that point, it was like he told me I had to tell it. Because see, the devil will ride us off the stuff that we've been through. And the devil also know how to use the things that we've been through to affect us in the here and now. And it wasn't, I realized as long as I allowed the devil to keep playing over the things that happened to me in my mind, he had control of my life. I didn't have control of my life. So God purposed me to tell my story and things that happened to me because I wasn't the only one that it happened to. So that's what made me write the first book that I wrote. And I wrote that book and I was speaking for so many people that I knew I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only person that had been raped. I wasn't the only person that had been a teenage mom or had been abused and beaten. I knew too many other people, that went through it.
Absolutely.
But you ask yourself, what do you do with all of that? How do you get all of that out?
Right.
So that's what compelled me to write my story.
Right. What was your reaction of the book when you wrote it?
So let me tell you about this book. You know how you had family members that support you, and you had the family members that knows it, and then you have the ones that want it because they want to see who are you talking about.
Right.
Yes. So I wrote this book and I was telling the story, so the family members grabbed it because they wanted to know who was I talking about in this book. Now, I had a good response to it. Some was okay with it. Some was mad about it. But again, it's like, I knew some people was going to be mad, and I didn't care. That was fine because God told me to tell my story and don't worry about who didn't like it because it was my story. That's why I told it. And it wasn't to bash anybody or make them feel bad, but it was for my freedom. And it was for me.
Absolutely.
And also it was for the people that would try to use my past against me. They want to tell. And I tell people all the time, my life is like an open book. And it's funny because I remember years ago, you couldn't pay me to tell nothing. I'm going to keep these secrets, but then it was like, who else can tell your life story better than you?
Right.
Who else can tell about the things that you've done better than you? And so I realized once I started telling my truth and sharing my story, I was no longer allowing the people to hinder me or, try to control me from the things I did. Am I proud of the things I did? No, indeed. But the thing about it, I tell my kids, we all do things in life that we regret, and things that we do are lessons. And I thank God for all of my lessons that I learned, because if it had not been for those lessons, I wouldn't be here now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you wouldn't have blessed so many people as well, because you blessed a lot of people going through that.
I think in my book, I try to touch on everything that I went through. And it's funny because people say, you know how everybody say, let's look at Lifetime? They want to look at the Lifetime channel. And I tell them my life was Lifetime. So I don't look at Lifetime, because my life is almost every show that every show that has came on Lifetime, that's me. I've been the abused wife. I've been the rape victim. I've been the alcoholic. I've been the prostitute, you know, so I can look at Lifetime and not see myself. So I'm telling people, your life is Lifetime. You don't have to watch that. You just have to watch yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is so, so true. And then, you know, they don't understand what you go through when you are not free yourself. When you're not able to be free yourself, they don't understand that. And I've heard where, you know, women have told their story, but I've heard women that said they will wait until the parties were dead. We're no longer here, no longer around, but you didn't do that. You were in it. You were going to just put it all out there.
And I did that because I have 5 daughters. And if you can't love yourself, I didn't love myself. You know, I had gotten to a point where I allowed a man to take me to a place to where I felt my life was no longer valuable. And I tried to take it. But I tell you, we serve an amazing God, because each time I tried to take my life, he stepped in and told me, no, that's not for you to do. I told you you're on an assignment and you have something to do. And so that's the thing, when God places an assignment on you, it doesn't matter how many times you try to avoid it. Eventually, you're going to do what he put on you to do. There's no question about it. You're going to do it. So, you know, in telling this, I had to think, you know, how would my girls and my sons be affected? So, you know, I'm very transparent with, I tell them everything. It was uncut, unedited version, because I didn't want them to go out and people say, oh, you read your mama really did that? You know, my girls are like, yeah, that's what happened to my mama. That's what she did. I own my truth.
And how many children do you have, Olevia?
I have 5 daughters and I had 2 sons. I recently lost my youngest son, and he passed away from diabetic complications.
Okay.
So now I'm a mother of 6, mother of 7, but I have 6 living kids.
Right. And 5 daughters. You know, that's something that you had to put that out there for those girls.
Not only that, it's ironic. I was sitting up the other day. I have 6 grandkids now, and I have 5 granddaughters and 1 grandson.
Wow.
So the same amount of living kids I have the same amount of grandkids.
Wow.
And I have to look at, that's the next generation, you know. And if one thing I want them to always remember, they always have to own their truth and be true to themselves.
Absolutely. But you know what, Olevia, you know, I'm quite sure you and I remember there were times we were just not told to be true to ourselves. It was always do for other people. Nobody told us to be true to yourselves, to take care of yourself, to make sure that man respected us, to make sure that we loved ourselves. We were never told that, because we were cooking and cleaning and being who everybody else wanted us to be. And that really set up the unfortunate events for us to go into experiences where, you know, we figure everybody's going to treat us like we treat them.
And that's true. You know, we were not taught that. We actually were taught, you know, whatever goes on in the house stays in the house. You know, that was the stigma. You know, don't you tell what goes on in this house, you know. And so, and the same as you're saying is true. I had to learn how to cook at 7 years old. I learned how to cook at 7, and I had to take care of my sister and brother. So, you know, this generation is totally opposite from our generation. But at the same time, from my generation, what I learned that we have to tell our kids we love them. We have to tell our daughters that they're beautiful. We have to encourage our Black sons. We have to encourage them to be men, you know, even if the father is not present. And I'm a firm believer. I know people say kids kind of, you know, wander off when it's a single parent home, but I've seen so many kids come out of a single parent home and do an amazing thing. You know, so I don't stereotype that because it's an absent parent. I just use the judgment on, you know, and I call it the life of choices. You know, it's the good, the bad. And each choice in our life, whether it be good or bad, has a consequence. And I think it's the upbringing. But I found myself, prime example, if we don't tell our daughters that they're beautiful. It's going to be easy for a man to come out and tell them, hey, you're beautiful, and lure them in with the basic little simple things, and they'll think, oh, well, that's love. Right. No, you have to love yourself first. And if you don't love yourself, then you're setting yourself up to be abused, because people don't realize, what does love look like? And when you think about that, we look at these little shows, and I'm old school. I was looking at like 8 is Enough and all of that, Leave It to Beaver. I'm looking at all that. Right. See, kids nowadays looking at Love and Hip Hop of Atlanta, and they think that's the real world. And I'm telling my girls, these people are actors. Yes. They're getting paid. Right. To really come on here and show you this. And I'm always saying, cover up. You don't have to be naked for attention. What kind of attention are you seeking? Right. Because see, I used to be that girl that would come out half naked, and want to show this and that. But then the attention that I got was not the attention that I was seeking. So, you have to really instill in them, there's nothing wrong with covering up. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. Nothing at all. Absolutely. So I think it's just the upbringing and the communication. It really has to be communication. Absolutely. With our kids. And, they have peer pressure. You have women competing against each other. My body looks like this, my booty look like this, my breasts look like this. It's all that kind of stuff. And I heard somebody say, the way you are dressed is how you are addressed. And men see that. Not saying you have to look like a monk or a nun. You know what? It's so funny you said that, Olevia. And you and I are from the same old school. You remember the time we used to wear slips? Slips up under your dresses? Yes. I remember the slips under the dresses. You had the whole slip, the half slip for your skirt, and you wore stockings also. Right. So yes, I remember that. But that's long gone. I don't even think we can find. It's hard to find a slip. Slip is like extinct now. If we got a slip, we got something that probably can be auctioned off in years to come. and when you talk about loving yourself, that's another thing. The peer pressure. But also the peer pressure again falls on, we have a lot of these celebrities that make these kids feel that they have to be perfect, that they have to have all these procedures. Your breasts got to sit up, high, your butt have to be so big, and your waist got to be snatched in. Honey, look, just love yourself, curves and all. And the way you are. Every lump, every bump. And God created us, and He wanted us to have an hourglass figure. Now, I'm going to tell you, I tell people, we all had hourglass figures. Absolutely. We go through stages in life. And so to remain in an hourglass figure is saying you feel God made you imperfect. Honey, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm perfectly and wonderfully made in God's eyes. I'm not going to go lay on the table so a doctor can tell me, well, I think you need to do this. No, I'm okay. I've shown women where you don't have to have surgery to lose your stomach. And it's funny because I was one of those people that said, oh, I'm going to go and give me a tummy tuck, and I'm going to go get it. But then I started working out and exercising, eating right, honey, and the tummy just was leaving. I said, oh, well, that's okay. I saved me a couple of $1,000. So, you can do anything if you put your mind to it and save the money you going to spend and invest in a trainer. If you want to look a certain way, go get your personal trainer. Right. Get somebody that you can hold accountable. I'd rather work hard for it and look back over in time and be like, I remember when, and know the feeling to get into that way that you want to be comfortable. And again, no one is perfect. That's the thing. And I wish these kids and women would stop feeling like you have to be perfect. And we don't. Yeah. Because no one is perfect. Absolutely. Nobody is perfect. And you said you saved some money, but in some cases they saved their lives too. Because they're doing this just uncalled for. And to mutilate their body for the benefit of show, it's just unnecessary that you have to do that. But it goes back to what you're saying. You got to have something within inside yourself that you believe that you are beautiful and wonderfully made. And although we weren't taught that back then, but it is no excuse not to have it today. What do you say about the power of no, Olevia? That's my favorite word right now. I tell people, I say, y'all don't know what that word is. No. Right. And it's funny because I used to didn't say no to my kids. Everything was a yes. Yeah. And I had to realize that no have to be in there. You have to say no, you know, because if you give your kids everything, if you allow them to do everything, if you allow a person to treat you a certain way, then that's what we're going to get. I tell people, if I say no, that's what it is. I'm not going to think about it. No, I'm not going to try to minimize it and be like, well, no, it's just point blank. No, if I don't want you to touch me, don't touch me. If I don't want you in my space, don't be in my space. It's just how it is. And I think people should respect that, you know, and accept it.
Right. And we had to get to that point, like you said, because it was always a yes, and yes and everybody.
Yeah. I was a yes woman in my past. Everything was a yes. And I knew it was wrong, and I was yesing it anyway. My gut was telling me it was wrong, and I was yesing it anyway. And so, you know, those yeses really messed me up some, because a lot of those yeses should have been no's, should have been more words onto the nose. But you know, now I'd be like, no. And that's it. I'm going to say no and move on to the next story. And I'm going to be like, you still on that chapter? I finished that. Yeah, so you have to stand firm on that.
Absolutely. What about the book you wrote, No Test, No Testimony? Tell a little bit about that.
Okay. No Test, No Testimony was with a great lady, Miss Cheryl Lacey Donovan, and it was actually an anthology she came up with, and she wanted us to be a part of. And so I loved it because of the title. You know, if you have not been tested in life, you don't have a testimony. And I think everybody in life has had some kind of test that has a testimony. They might think that they don't, but we all have a testimony that can help someone overcome, you know. And what I find whenever I share my testimony to people, I have males, I have women that come and inbox me and tell me thank you, because they thought they were the only one something happened to. They couldn't overcome. And so even though now I still try to encourage people, even now, you know, it's kind of hard because, like I say, my baby passed away 2 months ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Even in my pain and stuff and my grief, I still feel like I'm on an assignment. You know, God gave me this assignment. And I think steady in encouraging people and, you know, being an inspiration to other people helps me in my grief. So, you know, No Test, No Testimony is a bunch of women that have stories you would not believe. Like those stories are stories that can really heal you. They can help you start that process to healing.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, 2 months ago, my condolences for that, because I can imagine as any mother would, being a mother, to lose your child, but in 2 months and you're still on the journey. And I told someone the other day, some people have not even got on their journey. Some people don't even know what it means to be on the journey of their life, not of somebody else's life, but their life. And you're going to have some seasons on that journey, but it's kind of like you got to stay on it, because there's people left out of here, women that are older, have moved on, bad relationships, been angry forever, but they never got on their journey because they were always on someone else's journey. It was always his journey or the kid's journey, but never her journey.
You know, in the Bible, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil. See, a lot of people get into the valley and they stop. He said, don't fear. He didn't say we was going to be stuck in the valley now.
Right.
You know, but a lot of people, when they're going through it, they stay there. Yeah. And it's like all they see is the darkness. Yeah. And they don't want to come out. They're not looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, because right now all they see is darkness. So they feel like if they just stay right where they're at, they're okay. Yeah. Not knowing that if you keep walking and you keep looking forward and you keep holding on to your faith, you're going to eventually get to the end of that. You're going to start seeing something as you're getting closer. You're going to start seeing something brighter as you're approaching it. And as you get there, you're going to say, I made it. Absolutely. You're going to be surprised that you made it. And when you look back, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't think I was going to get through this. But, you know, you have to want to keep walking forward. You got to keep going to, because, you know, it's easy to just stop and give up. And that's just like, I tell people, that's like us with these diets. And I stopped saying I'm on a diet because I had to sit. I'm going to show you what God showed me one night. I was sitting there, I said, ooh, I got to get back on this diet. And it's like, I just looked at the word diet and the first 3 letters said D-I-E. Are you trying to die? See, people kill themselves on the diet because they going to starve themselves to death and all of this. But then I looked over there and there it was, I had lifestyle change wrote on the paper. And the first 4 letters of lifestyle change is what? Life. So now that's when God said you either going to die over here or you're going to have life over here. Which one are you going to do? So I chose life. And that's how people need to look at things. We need to look at our situations and decide, are you going to stay over here dying in your past, or are you going to move forward in your present and your purpose that God has gave you and live the best life that you can live?
The best life that you know to live. And you're absolutely correct, that die in that life. And you know, the word says life and death is in the power of the tongue. We realize it, but we just kind of cascade around it as if it doesn't mean anything, but it means a lot what comes out of your mouth. And it means a lot what you say to yourself. I think I heard Ilana Van Zandt said that it's not about what they call you, it's what you answer to. And if you don't know what you answer to, then you haven't gone on your journey. You haven't let go of some things enough to hold on to a bunch of stuff, whether it's a man, whether it's a bad relationship, whatever it is, you're holding on to it. And those are the things that you got to let go as you move on.
That's what, like my book. I call it the Old Testament and the New Testament to me. The dirt I hid is my Old Testament. You know, and I tell people it's two parts to the Bible. You know, we got the old and the new. And so a lot of time people want to stay in the Old Testament. I use the Old Testament as a reference guide now. You know, that's my what not to do. You know, that's what you go back and look on. Yes, you go back and look on it. My New Testament is how to overcome and how to still push through even in the darkest times. That's just like I have a new book coming called Smiling After the Pain. And I'm in the process of writing that now. And it's funny because I had a whole little book. I had already started writing it. And it's like when my baby passed away, I just deleted everything I wrote. And because I realized Smiling After the Pain was supposed to start after this, while I'm going through the pain. Because how else can I tell you that you're going to be able to smile after being hurt? How can I show you that you'll be able to live again after a loss? If I haven't experienced it. I mean, yes, I experienced it in instance in my life, but the pain that but the pain to lose my child and still have to get up and go forward. You will say, no, I don't see myself smiling again. But believe it or not, I see myself smiling. The other night I said, Lord, if I could just hear my baby one more time and see him smile and talk one more time. Now, I never go on his Facebook page, but I went, it's like I was pushed to go on his Facebook page. And I look at the first two posts he write, because he used to write some silly stuff. But I just kept strolling his page, Miss Myra, strolling. And what did I see? A video that said I'm bored, so I'm gonna sing this song. And I couldn't do nothing but begin to cry and thank God, because I asked to see my baby and hear him again. And there was a video of my baby singing and hearing him again. So that just shows me that God is an amazing and an awesome God. You just have to hold on and have faith. And in the midst of me crying, Miss Myra, I found myself smiling. So that's why my book, it's not going to be a long book, but it's just to let you know that no matter what we go through, eventually, just like when it rains and we see that rainbow out there, eventually when the pain leaves, we'll smile again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing. That's amazing. And that is truly a testimony after the test or the experience. I mean, that just gave me chills just hearing you say that, but you were led to that. And I think when you're on your journey, Olevia, when you're on your journey, you're more sensitive to what God is telling you to do, because you're not cluttered with a bunch of frustration, anger. You're not around people that are causing your spirit to be heavy. So then it takes not much for you to hear what God is saying to you, for you to move in the next direction, whether it's left, right, front, or back. But going back to what you said, in that darkness, that is not a place to lay and stay at all, no matter what it is, because at some point you got to get up. You got to want to get up, because you got to know that's where that faith comes in that you're talking about.
Yeah, you got to have that faith.
You got to
have the belief.
Absolutely.
You got to believe in yourself, you know, and that's where that self-esteem comes in. You know, you have to have that self-esteem to know it might not feel good at this particular moment.
Right.
But you're going to eventually feel better.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like, you know, when we have kids, them labor pains don't feel good. But after the labor pains, we have our child right there. You know, we smiling and crying because that's that joy that we feel. So just know that during that time that we're going through the pain, those are labor pains. We got to work. We got to go through it. But eventually we're going to smile, the joy, the amazing feeling of knowing that I survived it.
Right.
I made it through it.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to help and encourage many other people.
Right, right.
Yeah, you got to push, honey. You can't be sitting down on the table marinating like it's just so. You can't marinate. You know, when we in labor, we up in there breathing. Oh, I can't. I can't breathe. We up there talking about, ooh, it hurts. I can't breathe. They saying push. You talking about I can't push, and then they saying yes you can, and you got to get that. You got to suck it in and get that second wind, and that's when you got to push. So that's the thing I tell people: you got to get that second wind and be able to push. Because otherwise, how else is it gonna come out?
That's it. That's what my grandma says. Only one way is coming, and it's coming, and you can't be cute.
One way is coming.
You going
can't be
cute in it at all, because it ain't cute. I mean, because when you push it through, you like, hey, I ain't got time for all the frills and all the stuff that I got now, because, honey, all you want to do is get through this thing right here. And that's
it's like a preparation. Let me tell you, Miss Myra, it's kind of like when we in late, we know we were finna have this baby, so we prepare. Right. First thing we do, we go take our wigs off. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm gonna take my wig off, and I'm gonna go get some braids put in my hair, because you want to kind of look your best. You don't want to be looking toe up, but you want to look. So now, now you want to you prepare, and you getting your braids, because you about to be in labor. Right. So it's like you got to prepare for that. You can't just go in there half-stepping. That's like in life. We can't go through life half-stepping. We have to prepare ourselves for life. We have to prepare for the battles that the enemy is going to come to us with. He say, put on the armor of God. We got to put our armor on. We got to have our shield. We got to have our sword. But if you come unprepared, honey, I don't know what to tell you.
Yes.
It's like you're going to be out there with some blinders on, just swinging in the air and don't know what you're swinging in.
Oh my God. Because if you haven't prepared yourself, your mind, your spirit, because you still are not ever totally prepared in the first place.
No, I'm not ever. You're not fully.
Maybe a quarter of the way prepared, and you have to trust that God's going to bring you over that finish line. Because your thought is, especially when you have your first one, you can only go with what people say, but your experience, until you experience that thing, you have no idea.
You have no idea. Honey, that's why I tell people, Miss Myra, I don't look like what I've been through. My best is yet to come.
No, you don't.
No. I tell myself every morning, I say, Olivia, your best is yet to come. And I know it is. Honey, they ain't seen nothing. So what, I'm from Shreveport.
Yeah.
So what, I stayed in the projects. So what, I was raised in a part of town called the Bottom. What that built me to be the way I am now. I think I'm forward tough, honey. I'm built to last. So it don't matter. That helped me to how I am now. All that helped me to be the person that I am now. Right. And so that's why I tell people, never let where you came from dictate where you going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't. You got to put your blinders on, like you said, Olivia. You got to put your blinders on. No matter what people say, because I can imagine your strength in your words, in your mindset, in your attitude is like you have blinders on. Because what you know.
I can't look. Yeah, right. I can't look sideways. I'm like that race horse. Right. I need to look straight ahead, because see, one thing I learned, we can easily be distracted. Yes. And sometimes when you're purposed and you're walking in your purpose and your calling, that's when the devil will come and try to distract you, because his goal is to kill, steal, and destroy. He's not trying to let you accomplish what it is he knows what your purpose to do. Right. He saw it. Why would he allow that? And if he can get in there, and if you allow him, and I say that's in the moment of weakness, if we allow him in and he takes the little things that we go through or what we've been through, and he can use that, he's already accomplished what he set out to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you say, okay, I give up. You wave the right flag even before you even begin the journey.
Yes.
And when you get on the other side, there's going to be many other sides of the journey, I believe. Because there's going to be some great days. There's going to be some good days. There's going to be days for every season. And there's going to be some days that you just like, I don't feel like doing none of this. This is a wrap. But I believe that's when God picks you up and pulls you, puts you in that red wagon and pulls you the rest of the way. And then give you something to drink and say, okay, now you got some strength. Let's go it again. And that's just the process of life. That's never going to stop. And matter of fact, we shouldn't really want it to, because then we have no more use here.
Exactly.
If we're not learning, because life is we're on a trail of living every day to be the best we can possibly be. And I think the young girls, or the women that came after us are having a hard time. The women that came after them, I think that they're learning it faster. But that middle group of women, because the ones behind us didn't have a clue. It didn't matter how they felt. It didn't matter how they looked. And some of those are just kind of were broken down at such an early age. But I think we were blessed to catch on to that renew yourself, heal yourself mentality. And now the younger girls have got to the point where it's all about them and they're not able to really balance that thing.
I think like you were saying, as far as the middle group, the middle group of women, I really feel this day and age, our young women could be so further ahead if we would take our generation and try to teach and instill in them what the women before us tried to teach and instill in us. For one being, you know, you have to learn to be independent. Not saying you don't need a man, but you have to learn to be independent. You know, a man wants a woman with confidence.
Absolutely.
Not a woman that's arrogant, you know, and feel like I don't need no man. You know, he wants a partner. You know, he's looking for that wife that they're going to build together, not one that's going to tear him down and tear the house down and all she's thinking about is herself. And I think, like you said something earlier about women now just more on the competing aspect, because if we were to pull together more and better than what we have done, then we can accomplish so much more. Our young women wouldn't be just lost and sitting there and, you know, selling themselves out for less or looking at themselves as they need a man to take care of them. No, honey, you have to first take care of yourself. And I taught my girls old school, honey. They can cook. They old school cook. And my girls are like under 27. So I have a 27, 26, 24, 22, a 20-year-old. So I tell them all the time, man, some man is going to be lucky to have you as a husband. One, you can cook, honey. You're not going to get a microwave dinner out of them. They literally cook. So, you know, and a lot of these young ladies, they can't cook.
No, they don't want to cook either. They don't.
No. They don't want to. And then they don't know the concept, the value of cleaning. They just throw the stuff on, honey, and keep kicking. And I'm like, what you looking for in life? And I tell my girls, it starts with you.
It does.
And so that's why with now these young girls, it starts with us. Even if they don't want to hear it, I'm still gonna tell them. I don't care. I'm gonna still tell them, because I know somewhere in there, if I can still tell you what I need to tell you, eventually you might find yourself in a situation and be like, I remember when Miss Olevia told me this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. They can learn from us, from the old school. And I know we were talking about a lady that's in our generation, is that what I tell the young lady is learn how to talk to a man. Learn how to understand that you can't devalue him. You can't treat him as if he's a boy. Learn to understand him, but you first got to understand yourself. And coming into a relation, don't want to get married if he's cheating on you already, if he's hitting you already, if he's doing those things.
You got to fight with 4 baby mamas and no.
No. What in the world? Why would you?
First off, don't marry him if he does not have goals and ambitions for himself. Absolutely. Not only that, if he's not praying for you and himself.
Yes.
No. I'm a firm believer, you should want a man that would treat you like he would treat his mama. And if he has no respect for his mama, that means run to the hills, honey. If I hear him disrespecting a woman, calling her out her name, or you know, and he has no respect for his mother, honey, that's automatically no. That means that's like a toxic sign, that biohazard sign, red bag, get out the way. It's funny you say that, Miss Myra, because in my book, I talk about I got a husband, and I think some people are just fascinated with the dress and the ring and the photos, that they not even thinking about the marriage. All they want is all these people to show up at their wedding. They want this cake. They want this big old ring that just blind you when you see it. And at the end of the day, when the wedding is over and the guest is gone, they don't know how to be a wife. They don't know how to be a husband. No. And so, before you know it, it's less than a year, and now you're divorced. Marriages don't last long anymore. I'm always surprised, and I always find it amazing when I see people post on my timeline 40 years of marriage. 50 years of marriage. I'm not saying it was perfect. That tell me they had to go through some stuff to get to 40 years. Yeah. But it was, to them, it was worth fighting for. Yeah. Because sometimes you got to fight. You got to fight if you want something good to come out. And I think marriage, when you take those vows, it say for better or for worse. I need, the next time I get married, I'm going to tell the pastor to tell me from worse to better, because we go through the worst before we get to the better. Yeah. And that's just the honest to God truth. And the sickness and health, for rich or for poor, we go through the poor, we go through the sickness. It's backwards. It's a process. You think God just going to give us a perfect marriage? No. We got to go through the test, to have the testimonies, to be able to say, I survived and I made it. And that's how I got to 40 years of marriage.
Absolutely. That's how I got there, because it wasn't always good. Now, you might have had, you had a lot of years it wasn't good, in the front end or the back end, one or the other.
And I respect the women that have been through those many years of marriage that can say, yes, my husband was unfaithful, or yes, I was unfaithful, but we decided that our love and our marriage was worth fighting for. I've even met women that say, yes, my husband got an outside child or some kids, or my wife had a baby for another man, but they felt that they love and their marriage was worth fighting for. And that's the thing with marriages. You have to decide if the person you're talking about marrying, are they gonna fight for you when it's time to fight? Or are they gonna stay in the ring and say, hey, I married you for good and bad, for better or for worse. I didn't say when it got to being uncomfortable, I was gonna leave. You have to ask yourself, is the person you willing to sign this piece of paper with is gonna stay in the ring with you? Yeah. No matter what.
Yeah. Today, Olivia, they don't have that. They just don't.
They don't have it.
And I can say, the 40 years of marriage today, I don't know. Because my husband and I do premarital. We work with the older, the younger, the middle, but I just don't know if we have what it takes to hold on, either of us, as far as the young people today, because you said something today, they either wanted microwave, they wanted blendable, they wanted all kinds of ways, but to put the work in it. And that's not something that most of them want to do today. And then they just, you got the living together, you got in the house, so it just keeps going and going and going.
I always say, surround yourself with like-minded people.
Right.
Surround yourself around people that will encourage you. Surround yourself around people that will actually pray for you and stand in the gap for you.
Absolutely.
Even when you're going through it. I tell my kids, sometimes you have to look at the company that you keep. Right. And it's a funny thing, because when I divorced my son's father, it's like God gave me this epiphany, and he said, can you see yourself with this man another year? Not another 5 years. He said another year. And I blurted out, nope, so quick. So that told me that season with him was over. So I had to change some things. Right. I had to change not always being around single women, because this is the thing about it's nothing wrong with being around single women, but I kind of find myself wanting to be around those that are more married and in a relationship, because they're not going to tell you to leave so quick. If you're not being abused, they're not going to tell you to leave. They're going to encourage you to first sit down and talk to that person, see if you can communicate. But when you have those single women that don't have a man, and they just got a boo or a friend and whatever you want to call them. They first think, oh, girl, let's go out and have some fun. And they want to try to fix you up with somebody. And I say, put a Band-Aid over a leak. And it doesn't work like that. So I always tell my daughters, I say, you have to be mindful of who you surround yourself with and who you call a friend. Because everybody is not entitled to have that title as your friend. That's true. Because when it comes down to it, and you really need a friend, that's when the test is given. That's when you see who is going to encourage you and who's going to leave you. So I learned, and even now it's funny, because I have found myself steady changing in the people that I'm surrounded by. And it's like I already know where I'm trying to go and where I have to get to. So it's like I'm moving and shuffling. It's time to move the ones that were sitting there and start getting with the ones that's moving and doing.
Absolutely.
So it's not saying that I think I'm better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just know my season with you, just like we have summer, winter, fall, and the leaves fall off the trees, and we look at that tree and it's bare naked, and you be like, oh, that tree ugly. And then when it start popping spring, you start seeing them little blooming flowers, leaves, what. That's my life. I'm going through the seasons. And it's not saying, we won't interact with each other again, but it was just, I was in a season with you, and I had to get what I was going to get and keep it moving.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, you have a plethora of wisdom, and everything you saying are just on point. And it's so well needed for our women today, yesterday, to keep going. But I'm going to tell you something. Our young ladies, I agree with you that we're going to have to really pray and come together to help them understand. Because I've been there, done that. I've been there. You don't even tell me nothing. You don't tell me what to do. You ain't this, you ain't that. I've been there and not wanting to compromise, not wanting to see it because I felt like, I'm it. So you stay there and I stay here. But that attitude was not beneficial for me. So I had to learn as I continued to grow. I had to learn that I had to be a little different than that. I had to teach me and ask God to help me to just curdle my tongue because I'm pretty outspoken. But I had to learn how to be a little bit more softer in my words. And that's what I teach the ladies. But what you have and the books that you've written are an extraordinary piece for ladies today that can help them, show them the faith, show them the way, and let them know they're not in this by themselves. So it has been my pleasure, Olevia, to have you come in and chat. And I don't want this to be the last time. And tell our listening audience and the lady out here, Ladies on Source Nation, how they can get in contact with you.
Okay, well, currently we're building a website, but if they just need to get in touch with me and want to, tell them they can find me on Facebook. I'm under Olevia H. Henderson. Okay. And also I'm on Instagram, Olevia H 1972. And this the thing about me, I'm up all night. I work night shifts, so it don't ever feel like they can't inbox me. Honey, you can inbox me at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Trust me, I'm up. You might say, when does this lady sleep? Yeah. But I'm one of those people, I'm going to always stay true to me. And I feel sometimes just being able to talk, because if they inbox me, I'm going to give them my number for them to call me. That's just me. Yeah. So, they can inbox me that way. Like I said, through Facebook. And then I'm going to be putting up there the link as soon as we finish the website to where they can actually, get books if they want to, or if they want me to come and do a speaking engagement, all of that. We're adding everything to the website. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, it has been a joy. And I know you're working on another book, and I definitely want to have you back to discuss a little bit more of this, and maybe come on a panel with me where we can try to kind of Skype these ladies and have these young ladies get some of that old school knowledge. Honey, well, I'm coming to your area soon. Okay. Wonderful. So I'm gonna let you know when I get down there. It's actually in a couple of months, so we can get together and talk about it. Definitely, I'll be looking forward to it. So you have an amazing day and amazing week, and God continue to bless you too, Ms. Myra. Doing, and I will talk to you soon. I'll see you when you get to Atlanta. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Can we talk? I tell you, that lady is full of a lot of good wisdom, and she's old school, and she comes from that old school mindset, which it means that, our parents didn't, our moms and grandmoms didn't play around with relationships and guys and just doing some of the things that we do today. Not to say we were always so good. It's not that. It's just that we did listen. We listened to some of the things they said. My grandmother used to say, time ain't long as it has been. Just keep on living. Those are the things that were said. But then right now, you can, at this age, I can feel those things and actually can connect to what she was talking about. So we just had Olevia Henderson on. She's the author of No Testimony, and also The Dirt I Hid. That is an amazing book. I mean, everybody has some dirt. Even men have dirt that they've hid due to shame, embarrassment, unforgiveness, things of that nature. So I hope that you glean something from the show. I'm definitely going to have Olevia back. I'm definitely wanting to do something with the old school and the new school to try to give some wisdom to our young ladies moving forward into their relationships, their lives, and experiences. So this is Myra McKnight. I try to bring things that are practical, that are real life, that make some sense.
that teaches us and that prompts us to do better and prompts us to be better. So I hope that you enjoyed it. This is Myra McKnight with Can We Talk? And you know what I want to tell you? Stay tuned. In October, I'm not sure the date. I think it's going to be around October, first week in October. It's going to be a Can We Talk Atlanta on set live with your girl, Myra McKnight. We're going to be here in Atlanta on set in the studio where I will have entrepreneurs, people of good life, people are doing some great things, business owners, all kinds of folks to come in and share their story, share their business, share their life, all those things that they've come out of and got into today. It's going to be Can We Talk Atlanta, and we're going to have an amazing time. But we're still going to be Can We Talk? Can We Talk will still be here live, TV, online, for all of those persons that will come into the studio that are all over the country. But we're going to do that, and then we're also going to be on set. So I am excited. I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all the many people that we'll be able to sit down and talk to, as well as more of the people that we sit and talk to here on live video. So this is Myra McKnight. Again, don't forget, Can We Talk? And Can We Talk Atlanta will be coming to Atlanta on set October. So look forward. I'm glad to have you in my space, and we're going to continue this energy, and we're going to help each other as we continue to grow. Have a great one.